I meet his gaze. Steady. Unwavering. I don't need to, because she's already lost more than she ever thought possible. And I'm still here. The water in my backyard pool glistens under the morning sun, rippling gently in the breeze. It's my sanctuary, a place of peace, of quiet. I moved into this neighborhood 2 years ago, wanting space, privacy, and a fresh start. As one of the few black homeowners in this affluent, mostly white HOA-controlled suburb, I knew I'd have to prove myself. Fine. I had the means. I had the patience. I had the receipts. First, everything seemed fine. The neighbors gave polite nods, some hesitant smiles. A few whispered questions about my line of work, as if a black man owning a home this nice had to come with some mystery. I let it slide. I was used to the quiet weight of suspicion. As long as no one bothered me, I could live with it. But then came Karen, the HOA president. Blonde bob, pastel cardigan, and the kind of smug smile that said she had never lost a fight in her life, because the rules were always rigged in her favor. She appeared one afternoon, clipboard in hand, rapping on my door with an entitled urgency. "Mr. Carter," she said, her voice dripping with faux hospitality. "I wanted to welcome you officially, and, of course, go over some community expectations." I humored her, listened as she rattled off HOA bylaws, emphasizing preserving the aesthetic integrity of the neighborhood. Then, her eyes drifted to my backyard, where my infinity pool shimmered like liquid glass. "Oh," she murmured, tilting her head. "You have a pool?" Something about the way she said it put me on edge. "Yes," I said slowly. "Had it built last year. Private. Fully permitted." She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "Interesting." A few days later, I noticed something odd. Neighbors walking closer to my fence, peering in. Families from down the street lingering as their kids pointed toward my backyard. I chalked it up to curiosity, until I found a group of teenagers climbing my fence, trying to sneak in. "Hey!" I barked, storming outside. The kids scattered like startled deer. Then came the emails. Reminders from the HOA about shared community spaces. Subtle at first, then more aggressive. Then came the sign. One morning, I woke up to find a metal plaque bolted to my fence. Community pool. Open access for HOA members. I stared at it, pulse pounding. This was my property. My pool. Karen had just declared it community property, without my permission. My jaw clenched. My peace was officially shattered. And I had a very bad feeling this was only the beginning. I don't touch the sign at first. I want to. My hands itch to rip it down, throw it into the street, and watch a car run over it. But something tells me to wait, to watch. And soon enough, I realize why. That weekend, the first family shows up. A white couple with 2 kids. Beach towels draped over their arms like they belong here. They don't knock. They don't hesitate. They walk right through my side gate and head straight for my pool. I step outside, arms folded, heart pounding. "Can I help you?" The father barely looks up as he spreads sunscreen on his kid's shoulders. "Oh, hey, we're just getting settled in. Karen said we could come by any time." "Karen." I forced myself to stay calm. "Karen said? You realize this is my property, right?" Now he looks up, frowning like I just confused him. "But it's the community pool," he says slowly, like he's explaining something to a child. "Karen said the HOA agreed to designate it for everyone." I glance at my private pool, at the custom tilework I designed, the outdoor furniture I picked out, the grill station I installed with my own hands. Community property? Hell no. I take a slow breath. That's not how this works. This is my home. My land. No one owns it but me. The wife shifts uncomfortably. The husband tenses. And then the words. "Well," he says, lips curling. "You're new here. Maybe you don't understand how we do things." I know exactly what he means. I escort them out. Not with threats, not with shouting. Just cold, firm insistence. They grumble, gather their things, and leave. But the damage is done. Because the next day, more people show up. A group of teenagers, lounging like it's a public resort. A mother sunbathing with her friend. sipping wine by my poolside furniture. I send them all away, and every time I get the same response. But Karen said. Then come the emails. The HOA, reminding me that all common-use amenities fall under community jurisdiction. Karen, suggesting I should be more neighborly, that we all benefit from shared resources, that it's important for everyone to feel included. And then the real kicker, a fine. A $500 violation fee for restricting access to a community facility. My hands shake as I stare at the notice. They're fining me for refusing to let strangers use my own damn pool. I step outside, scanning the neighborhood. People walk by my fence casually, too casually. I feel eyes on me, watching, waiting, daring me to fight back. Karen is testing me, seeing how much she can take. She has no idea who she's messing with. I don't waste time. The next morning, I march straight to the HOA office, the violation notice clenched in my fist. Karen is already there, seated behind a pristine white desk, sipping a cappuccino like she runs a Fortune 500 company instead of a suburban neighborhood extortion ring. Her pastel cardigan is draped over her shoulders, and she smiles when she sees me. That same smug, condescending smirk. "Mr. Carter," she says, feigning surprise. "What a pleasant visit. How can I help?" I drop the fine notice onto her desk. "You can start by explaining this." Karen sighs, tilting her head. "Oh, that. Yes, we sent out notices last week regarding the HOA's decision to designate your pool as a shared amenity. Didn't you receive the email?" I keep my voice even. "You can't just take my private property, Karen. That's not how homeownership works." She laughs lightly, shaking her head like I'm a naive child. "Oh, Mr. Carter, no one's taking anything. We're just ensuring that all members of the community benefit from shared resources. It's about fostering inclusivity." Inclusivity. That word tastes like poison coming from her. I lean forward, lowering my voice. "And tell me, Karen, how many other white homeowners have had their pools turned into community property?" Her smile falters, just for a second. But then, she recovers. "This isn't about race, Mr. Carter," she says smoothly. "It's about the bylaws. As HOA president, I have the authority to enforce regulations." I inhale slowly, steadying my pulse. She wants me to snap, to get angry, to raise my voice so she can label me aggressive, threatening, dangerous. Not today. I meet her gaze and smirk. "Perfect. Then you won't mind showing me exactly where." In the bylaws, it states that the HOA can seize private property. Karen's smile flickers again. "Well, it's a bit more complicated than that." I cut her off. "No, Karen. It's actually very simple. Either it's in the bylaws or it isn't." She doesn't answer. Instead, she reaches for a folder and slides it across the desk. "Here," she says, overly polite. "Take a look for yourself." I flip through the documents. None of them say anything about private pools being classified as community amenities. But I do find something interesting, a revision date. "These bylaws were updated 2 months ago," I say slowly. "Right after I built my pool." Karen doesn't even blink. HOA regulations evolve as needed. I glance at her, at the predatory gleam in her eyes. This was deliberate. She changed the rules just to target me. Fine. If she wants to play dirty, so can I. That night, I install security cameras. High resolution, motion activated. I set up alerts on my phone and keep a live feed running in my office. If anyone tries sneaking into my pool again, I'll have proof. I don't have to wait long. The very next evening, I get an alert. Movement detected. I pull up the footage. 3 men, late 40s, all white, one of them holding a beer, laughing. They waltz into my backyard like they own the place and dive straight into my pool. My blood boils. I don't call the HOA. I don't even bother warning them. I grab my phone and dial the police. Within minutes, red and blue lights flash outside. Officers step out, hands on their belts. I meet them at the fence, phone in hand. "They're trespassing," I say, showing the footage. This is my property. The officers nod and head inside. Moments later, the laughter stops. The men scramble out of the pool, hands raised in mock innocence. What's the big deal? One of them scoffs. Karen said it's a community pool. One officer, a stocky black man, glances at me. Across my arms. Karen's wrong. This is private property. Another officer nods. You're all trespassing. We can handle this one of two ways. The men shift uncomfortably. They know they're in the wrong. Eventually, they leave, muttering curses under their breath. But I'm not satisfied, because the real problem isn't these random neighbors. As the next morning, I wake up to an official HOA notice taped to my door. Final warning. Failure to comply with HOA regulations regarding community pool access will result in escalated fines and potential legal action. At the bottom, Karen's signature is scrawled in looping cursive, like a queen stamping her royal decree. I exhale slowly, rolling my shoulders. All right, Karen, you want to go to war? Let's go to war. I don't bother replying to the notice. Instead, I make a few calls, gather my evidence, and wait. Because I know exactly where Karen will be this evening, the HOA meeting. By the time I arrive at the clubhouse, it's packed. Half the neighborhood is here. Some faces are smug, others curious. I even catch a few guilty looks, residents who used my pool and now realize they're on the wrong side of this. At the center of it all is Karen, perched like a queen behind the HOA board table, basking in the attention. Ah, Mr. Carter, she purrs when she sees me. So glad you could make it. I step forward, hands in my pockets, calm and collected. I wouldn't miss it for the world, Karen. She feigns a sympathetic sigh. I understand you've been having some trouble adjusting to our community's policies, but rules are rules. She turns to the audience, raising her voice theatrically. This neighborhood is built on shared values. It's unfair for one homeowner to hoard resources that could benefit everyone. A few people nod along. Others look uncomfortable. But Karen smells blood. She's enjoying this, publicly shaming the difficult, black homeowner who won't submit. I let her talk, let her dig herself deeper. Then I tilt my head. Karen, just so we're clear, you're saying my pool is legally community property, right? Her smile widens. Exactly. I pull out my phone. Great. Let's take a look at the original HOA bylaws. A hush falls over the room as I tap the screen, projecting my screen onto the meeting's smartboard. A lawyer friend of mine helped me pull the original HOA documents from before Karen's little revision. And guess what? Nowhere does it say private pools can be designated as community property. Karen's face freezes. But wait, I say, pretending to scroll. Let's look at the revised version. Oh, here's the change. Conveniently added 2 months after I built my pool. I glance up. Karen, did the community vote on this? Silence. People start whispering. They're realizing. Karen never asked them. She never had authority. I don't stop there. Let's also take a look at security footage from last night. I click another button, and the video plays. 3 men trespassing. Police arriving. The officers telling them they had no legal right to be there. Now the whispers turn to outright murmurs. I let the silence stretch before delivering the final blow. I also spoke to a real estate attorney. I continue. And do you know what she told me? The HOA can't seize private property. In fact, Karen, what you've done is called fraudulent misrepresentation. You fabricated rules, issued illegal fines, and encouraged trespassing. I turned to the room. And here's the best part. That means every single fine Karen has ever issued over revised rules is legally invalid. The room erupts. People start shouting over each other, flipping through their own HOA notices, realizing just how much Karen has scammed them over the years. Karen's face drains of color. I was just trying to maintain order, she stammers. But it's too late, because in that moment I see the shift. Karen doesn't have the room anymore. She's finished. Karen's mouth opens, then closes. Her knuckles turn white as she grips the armrests of her chair. She's panicking. I step closer, letting the weight of silence crush her. Karen, I say evenly, do you have anything to say for yourself? She forces a laugh high and brittle. This is absurd. I was only enforcing community standards. A man in the crowd stands, one of the older homeowners. Then why didn't you hold a community vote, Karen? You had no right to change the rules behind our backs. Another woman shakes her head. I just checked my emails. You never sent out a vote. You just decided. Like a dictator. Karen waves a hand. Oh, come on. You all benefited. Mr. Carter is just being difficult. Benefited? I scoff. Karen, you gave random people permission to trespass on my property. That's not benefiting. That's illegal. More voices rise. He's right. She's been scamming us for years. What else has she been lying about? Karen's head jerks side to side. She's losing them. Across my arms. You tried to fine me for not letting strangers into my own pool. How much have you fined everyone else under these fake bylaws? A woman near the front, Ms. Daniels, a retired teacher, holds up her phone. I just pulled up my records. Karen fined me $2,000 over fence height regulations. Were those real, Karen? More people start checking their records. More eyes turn on her. Karen knows she's trapped. Her chest rises and falls quickly. This is all a misunderstanding. I raise a brow. A misunderstanding? She grabs a stack of papers, flipping through them desperately. I was just following HOA protocol. Maybe there was some clerical error, but I had no malicious intent. I smirk. That's funny, because I had a lawyer look over the HOA financials. And guess what? I hold up my phone again. Every time you issued a fine, the money went through your account before being allocated to HOA expenses. Collective gasp. A homeowner shouts, "Wait, are you saying she's been pocketing our fines?" I nod. Oh, I'm not just saying it. I have the paper trail. Karen's eyes go wild. That's a lie, she screeches. This is a smear campaign. You're just angry that the neighborhood doesn't want you here. There it is. That final, desperate lunge toward racism. And she knows, the second it leaves her mouth, she's lost. The room falls dead silent. People stare at her. Some in shock, others in disgust. I stay calm. So that's what this was about all along? My voice is smooth, deliberate. It wasn't about community resources or fairness. It was about the fact that you didn't like a black homeowner standing his ground. Karen sputters. That's not what I meant. I just tilt my head. But it's what you said. She spins on the crowd. You can't believe him. He's twisting my words. But no one is on her side anymore. A man near the back shakes his head. I didn't want to believe it, but... Yeah, she targeted him. A woman crosses her arms. And she stole from us. Murmurs turn to shouting. Karen, what else have you lied about? Where's all the money from last year's maintenance fees? She needs to step down. Now. Karen shoots up from her seat. This meeting is over, she shrieks, slamming a gavel down. The door swings open. 2 uniformed officers step inside. Karen freezes. The black officer from last night steps forward, nodding at me. Mr. Carter, you reported fraudulent activity to our department earlier today, correct? I smile. That's right. He turns to Karen. Karen Whitmore, we have reason to believe you've been misappropriating HOA funds and committing fraud through unauthorized fines. We need you to come with us for questioning. Karen goes sheet white. You can't be serious. The officer pulls out a folder. We've reviewed financial statements and collected homeowner complaints. If these allegations hold, you're looking at embezzlement charges. The crowd erupts. Karen backpedals. I need a lawyer. The officer nods. You can call one at the station. And just like that, they cuff her. The neighborhood watches as Karen, the self-proclaimed HOA queen, is marched out the door, her face red with humiliation. For the first time in weeks, I take a deep breath. Because the war? It's over. Section 6. Justice and Resolution. 600 words. The next morning, the entire neighborhood is buzzing. Karen's arrest is all anyone can talk about. Her face is plastered all over local news. The headline reading, HOA President Arrested for Fraud and Embezzlement. Turns out, once people started digging, they found years of corruption. Karen had been overcharging for neighborhood improvements, fining people for imaginary infractions, and skimming thousands off the top. The HOA board immediately votes her out. Her assets, frozen. Her reputation, destroyed. And as if karma wasn't done with her yet, her own home is foreclosed when it's revealed she's been using HOA money to pay her mortgage. By the end of the week, the queen of the HOA is evicted. I sit on my back patio, sipping a cold drink as I watch the movers haul Karen's belongings to the curb. She stands on the sidewalk, wild-eyed, screeching into her phone. "You can't just take my house. This is illegal." A city official shakes his head. "No, ma'am. What you did was illegal." I take another sip, letting the moment sink in. A month ago, Karen thought she could take my pool, my property, my dignity. Now, she has nothing. I don't even feel the need to gloat. The universe did it for me. That weekend, the new HOA board holds an emergency meeting. I show up, but this time the energy is completely different. Instead of hostility, people greet me with nods, some even looking guilty. Ms. Daniels approaches. "Mr. Carter, I just want to say I'm sorry. I should have spoken up earlier." I nod. Better late than never. Another homeowner, a man who had signed one of Karen's bogus petitions, clears his throat. "She manipulated a lot of us. We were wrong." It's not a grand apology, but it's enough. The board announces they're revoking all fraudulent fines and issuing refunds to every homeowner Karen scammed. People cheer. Some shake my hand. For the first time since I moved in, I don't feel like an outsider. Later that evening, I stand by my perfectly peaceful, private pool. No trespassers. No entitled neighbors. Just peace. A text pops up from my lawyer. Finalized. Karen is permanently banned from holding any HOA position. I smile. Then, just for fun, I send one last message to the HOA group chat. A single photo. My pool. Crystal clear. Caption, "Private property. Stay out." Seconds later, I see reactions pouring in. Laughing emojis. Thumbs up. Even a well-deserved comment. I lean back, stretching out. Justice? Served.